Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Jason Fung. Most people believe that kidney problems begin only when lab reports turn abnormal or when symptoms become impossible to ignore. But in reality, kidney stress often starts much earlier, quietly, silently, long before disease is ever diagnosed. Every single day, your kidneys filter nearly 180 litres of blood. They remove toxins, balance fluids, regulate blood pressure, and protect your body from internal damage without making a sound. And that's what makes kidney stress so dangerous. You don't feel it happening, you don't see it coming, but your body feels the consequences. Many of my patients tell me the same thing. Doctor, I feel tired even after sleeping. My ankles feel slightly swollen. My face looks puffy in the morning. My body just feels heavier than it used to. And when we check their reports, we often don't see kidney failure. We don't see disease. We see something more subtle. Kidneys working harder than they should. What most people don't realize is that diet plays a powerful role here. Not extreme cleanses, not harsh detox programs, but simple, everyday foods that either burden the kidneys or quietly support them. Over the years, I've seen certain plant foods make a real difference, especially when used consistently. Today, I want to talk about 3 specific beans that help reduce toxin load, calm inflammation, and support the kidney's natural cleansing process. Not as a cure, not as a miracle, but as gentle, practical support. The way the body was designed to heal. I'll also share real patient experiences that show how small dietary shifts helped stabilize kidney function, reduce swelling, and restore energy, without medications or aggressive treatments. Let's begin. Bean. Number 1. Black beans. The quiet protector of your kidneys. When we talk about supporting kidney health, most people immediately think about what they should remove from their diet. Less salt, less sugar, less processed food. And while that matters, what often gets overlooked is what you add back in to reduce stress on the kidneys. This is where black beans play a surprisingly powerful role. Black beans are not aggressive detox foods. They don't force the kidneys to work harder. Instead, they quietly reduce the pressure placed on the delicate filtering units inside the kidneys, known as nephrons. And for many of my patients, that gentle support makes all the difference. One of the main reasons black beans are so kidney-friendly is their antioxidant content. They contain compounds called anthocyanins, the same protective antioxidants found in blueberries. Inside the kidneys, these antioxidants help neutralize free radicals that slowly damage the filtration system over time. When oxidative stress is reduced, the kidneys can filter blood more efficiently, with less inflammation and less long-term wear. Another important benefit is the type of protein black beans provide. Unlike animal protein, which increases acid load and creates more nitrogen waste for the kidneys to clear, plant-based protein is gentler. It produces fewer metabolic byproducts, meaning the kidneys don't have to work as hard to maintain balance. For people with early kidney stress, this reduction in workload can be significant. Black beans are also rich in soluble fiber, and this is something many people underestimate. Soluble fiber binds waste and toxins inside the digestive tract before they ever reach the bloodstream. When fewer toxins enter circulation, fewer toxins reach the kidneys. In other words, black beans help stop the problem upstream, rather than forcing the kidneys to deal with it later. I remember a patient named Ahmed, a man in his early 50s, who came to see me because his creatinine levels had slowly been creeping up. Not dramatically, not dangerously, but enough to cause concern. He also mentioned mild ankle swelling by the evening, and a constant sense of fatigue. When we talked about his diet, he told me most of his dinners were centered around red meat, often late in the evening. I didn't tell Ahmed to become vegetarian overnight. Instead, I asked him to start replacing some of those meals with black beans a few times a week. Simple dishes, well cooked, nothing extreme. Within a couple of months, his ankle swelling reduced noticeably, his energy improved, and his follow-up labs showed stabilization in his creatinine levels. Not a miracle, just less strain on his kidneys. Another patient, Maria, came to me with early signs of protein leakage in her urine. She wasn't in kidney failure. She wasn't even sick by most definitions, but insulin resistance was quietly damaging the tiny blood vessels inside her kidneys. Black beans became part of her daily routine because of their low glycemic index. They help stabilize blood sugar, preventing spikes that damage the kidney's filtering capillaries over time. As her blood sugar control improved, so did her kidney markers. Mineral balance is another reason black beans are valuable. They provide magnesium and potassium in a natural, balanced form that supports healthy blood flow and fluid regulation. When blood vessels relax and circulation improves, the kidneys receive better oxygen and nutrients, allowing them to function more efficiently. What I often remind my patients is this: kidney support is not about forcing toxins out. It's about creating an internal environment where toxins don't build up as easily in the first place. Black beans help do exactly that. They lower inflammation, reduce acid load, stabilize blood sugar, and intercept waste before it reaches the kidneys. And when that burden is lifted, even slightly, the kidneys respond. Filtration becomes smoother. Swelling reduces. Energy slowly returns. Not overnight, but steadily, quietly, the way real healing usually happens. Bean number 2, mung beans, the cooling cleanser. Your kidneys need one of the most overlooked causes of kidney stress is inflammation. Not the kind that sends you to the emergency room, but low-grade, persistent inflammation that quietly irritates kidney tissue day after day. Many people don't realize this is happening because the symptoms are subtle. Slight puffiness in the face, a heavy feeling in the body, discomfort in the lower back, fatigue that doesn't fully go away with rest. This is where mung beans become especially valuable. Mung beans have long been used in traditional diets for their cooling and calming properties. From a physiological perspective, this cooling effect translates into reduced inflammatory stress on sensitive kidney tissue. When inflammation settles, the kidneys are able to filter blood more smoothly, without resistance or irritation. Another important role mung beans play is gentle detoxification through hydration and urine flow. Unlike harsh diuretics that force fluid loss and can strain the kidneys, mung beans encourage a natural increase in urine output. This helps flush out uric acid, excess salts, and metabolic waste in a way the kidneys can tolerate. The goal is not to push the kidneys harder, but to help waste move through the system more efficiently. I often see patients who struggle with high uric acid levels or early kidney stone formation. One such patient was Salman, a man in his late 40s who came to me with recurring joint discomfort and lab results showing elevated uric acid. He wasn't in kidney failure, but his kidneys were under constant stress trying to clear waste that kept accumulating. We talked about hydration, sodium intake, and dietary habits. I suggested he include simple mung bean soup several times a week, especially in the evening. Over time, his uric acid levels began to stabilize. He experienced fewer flare-ups, and follow-up imaging showed no new stone formation. What mattered most was not intensity, but consistency. His kidneys finally had breathing room. Mung beans also support the tiny blood vessels that allow the kidneys to function properly. The flavonoids and polyphenols found in mung beans help protect these delicate vessels from oxidative damage. When blood flow to the kidneys is smooth and uninterrupted, filtration improves naturally, oxygen delivery increases, waste removal becomes more efficient. Another benefit that is often underestimated is the connection between the liver and the kidneys. These two organs work closely together to remove toxins from the body. When the liver is overloaded, the kidneys are forced to compensate. Mung beans support liver detoxification, which indirectly reduces the workload placed on the kidneys. This partnership allows the entire detox system to function more effectively. I remember another patient, Aisha, a woman in her early 40s, who came to me complaining of facial puffiness in the morning and mild protein showing up in her urine tests. She was anxious, but her condition was still early. When we reviewed her diet, it became clear that inflammation and fluid imbalance were key issues. I suggested she replace her salty evening snacks with mung beans, prepared simply and thoroughly cooked. Within a few weeks, her morning puffiness reduced. Her urine markers improved. More importantly, she felt reassured. Her body wasn't failing her. It was responding to support. What mung beans teach us is an important lesson about kidney health. Cleansing does not need to be aggressive to be effective. In fact, aggressive approaches often do more harm than good. The kidneys respond best to calm, steady support, reduced inflammation, balanced fluids, improved circulation. When mung beans are used regularly, they help the kidneys release waste gradually, without irritation. They cool inflamed tissue. They support blood vessels. They lighten the detox burden shared between the liver and kidneys. And patients often report feeling less swollen, less heavy, and more balanced overall. This kind of improvement doesn't happen overnight, but it doesn't need to. Healing that lasts is usually quiet, subtle, and steady, just the way the kidneys prefer it. Bean, SRA3, red kidney beans, the metabolic stabilizer that protects your kidneys. One of the most common reasons kidneys become damaged over time has nothing to do with toxins alone. It has to do with metabolism, unstable blood sugar, rising blood pressure, chronic fluid imbalance. These are the silent forces that slowly scar kidney tissue, often without obvious warning signs. Red kidney beans help address this problem at its root. One of their most powerful features is fiber. Red kidney beans contain an exceptionally high amount of soluble and insoluble fiber, which plays a crucial role in trapping waste inside the digestive system and escorting it out of the body. When toxins are eliminated through the gut instead of the bloodstream, the kidneys are spared unnecessary work. This reduces toxin buildup and allows kidney filtration to proceed more smoothly. Blood pressure control is another area where red kidney beans quietly protect kidney health. Hypertension is one of the leading causes of kidney scarring. The magnesium found in red kidney beans helps relax blood vessels, improving circulation and reducing resistance within the kidney's delicate filtering system. When blood flows freely, pressure inside the kidneys decreases, and long-term damage is less likely to occur. Red kidney beans also support oxygen delivery to kidney tissue. They are rich in plant-based iron and folate, nutrients that help maintain healthy red blood cells and ensure oxygen reaches the kidneys efficiently. Well-oxygenated tissue is more resilient, better able to repair itself, and less vulnerable to chronic stress. Another benefit I often see in my patients is improved satiety. Red kidney beans provide steady, sustained energy that helps reduce cravings for processed foods. This matters because highly processed, salty and sugary foods place enormous strain on the kidneys. When patients feel full and satisfied, they naturally make better dietary choices without forcing themselves. I recall a patient named Rashid, a taxi driver who spent long hours sitting, eating irregular meals, and relying on convenience foods. He came to me with swelling in his legs, fluctuating blood sugar, and constant fatigue. His kidney tests showed early signs of stress, nothing severe, but enough to raise concern. We talked about practical changes he could maintain during long work days. Red kidney beans became a staple in his meals because they were affordable, filling, and easy to prepare in advance. Over the following months, his blood sugar stabilized, the swelling in his legs reduced, and his energy improved. His kidney markers stopped progressing in the wrong direction. What changed was not one dramatic intervention, but a consistent shift toward metabolic stability. Another patient, Nadia, struggled with hypertension and persistent bloating. She felt uncomfortable in her own body and worried about her long-term health. Red kidney beans became part of a plant-forward approach that helped her manage blood pressure and reduce fluid retention. Over time, she noticed less bloating, improved comfort, and more stable readings at her follow-up visits. What these experiences show is that kidney health cannot be separated from metabolic health. When blood sugar is stable, blood pressure is controlled, and waste is efficiently eliminated, the kidneys are protected. Red kidney beans support all three of these processes quietly and effectively. I often remind my patients that the kidneys thrive in balance, not extremes, not restriction, not aggressive detoxification, but steady support. Red kidney beans provide that balance by reducing toxin load, improving circulation, and stabilizing metabolism. When used consistently as part of a balanced diet, they help create an internal environment where the kidneys can function efficiently and recover from daily stress. The result is often less swelling, more stable energy, and a sense that the body is working with you, not against you. And that is exactly what long-term kidney support should feel like. Preparation and safety, supporting the kidneys without harm. Whenever we talk about using beans to support kidney health, it's important to approach the topic with balance and care. Beans are powerful foods, but like all foods, they work best when prepared correctly and used thoughtfully. The goal is to support the kidneys, not overwhelm them. One thing I always emphasize to my patients is proper preparation. Beans must be soaked thoroughly and fully cooked. This isn't about tradition or taste, it's about safety and digestibility. Raw or undercooked beans contain natural compounds often referred to as anti-nutrients. In simple terms, these compounds can interfere with digestion and place unnecessary stress on the body. Soaking and cooking neutralize them, making beans gentle, nourishing, and safe for daily use. I also remind patients that kidney support does not mean eating large quantities. More is not better. Beans should be included as part of balanced meals, not consumed in excess. When eaten in appropriate portions, they provide fiber, plant protein, and minerals without overloading digestion or kidney function. There are certain individuals who need to be more cautious. Patients with advanced kidney disease, especially those with significantly reduced kidney function, need to be mindful of potassium intake. This does not mean beans are forbidden. It means portions should be discussed with a healthcare provider who understands their lab values and individual needs. The approach should always be guided, not fearful. What I try to reassure my patients is that kidney care is not about rigid rules. It's about awareness. knowing your stage, knowing your limits, and making adjustments that support healing rather than create anxiety. Fear-driven eating rarely leads to good outcomes. One principle I repeat often is this: consistency matters more than intensity. The kidneys respond best to steady, daily support. A simple bowl of well-prepared beans eaten regularly does far more good than extreme dietary changes followed for a few days and then abandoned. Healing is cumulative. Small actions repeated over time create meaningful change. The philosophy of kidney support. When we step back and look at kidney health as a whole, one truth becomes clear. There is no single pill, no single food, and no overnight solution that restores kidney function. Real improvement comes from creating an internal environment where the kidneys can do their job without constant strain. Reducing inflammation, lowering toxin load, and stabilizing metabolism are the foundations of kidney support. Beans, when used correctly, contribute to all three. They calm inflammation. They help manage waste before it reaches the kidneys. And they support stable blood sugar and blood pressure, which are essential for protecting kidney tissue. When the kidneys are supported in this way, patients often notice changes beyond lab numbers. The body feels lighter. Swelling in the ankles or face begins to ease. Energy becomes more consistent throughout the day. Sleep improves because the body is no longer working overtime to manage internal stress. These improvements may seem small at first, but they reflect something important. The kidneys are responding. They are adapting. They are regaining balance. As a physician, what I find most encouraging is how often these changes come from simple, accessible foods rather than complex interventions. When beans are prepared properly and eaten consistently, they become a quiet form of daily support. They don't force detoxification. They allow it to happen naturally. The body has an incredible ability to heal when given the right conditions, and sometimes supporting that. Healing begins with the simplest choices, made consistently day after day. Thank you for watching.